Hello everyone, today we'll be discussing the issue of dynamics of income inequality in Malaysia and to what extent that it affects Malaysians as a whole. The article that we will be reviewing today is The Impact on Poverty and Income Inequality in Malaysia's Economic Growth by Rabiul Islam, Ahmad Bashawir Abdul Ghani, Irwan Shah Zainal Abidin, and Jaya Malarayapan. The second article is Sources of Income, Growth and Inequality Across Ethnic Groups in Malaysia by Muhammad Yusof Saari, Eric Ditchenbacher, and Bart Loss. I will firstly explain what income inequality is and what does it look like in Malaysia. Income inequality is a great disproportion of income distributions with a high congregation of income, which has been put in the hands of a small percentage of population. So when this occurs, there's a large gap between the wealth of one population segment compared to another. There has been so much debate and discussions about the role that such policy efforts to reduce inequality have played in Malaysia's economic success, including in the country's progress against income inequality and poverty. Several issues of income inequality are still ongoing these days, and our executive summary is going to discuss on the dynamics of income inequality in Malaysia, and despite those efforts that have been made by the government, why are there still discrepancies in this matter?
So next up we have findings. In the methods, asked for participants, 100 surveys were distributed to selected 100 respondents. This is to collect information from the respondents about income inequality in Malaysian economic growth. People that chosen are those who reside in Malaysia, and to relate with those respondents, this survey is going to look at the studies on changes in household and labour incomes. For the survey instrument, those 100 respondents have been asked some questions regarding their opinions on incomes in specific areas and whether they agree or not on the discrepancies of income. Furthermore, the quantitative method is used through these questionnaire forms.
The results from that survey is that most of them agree that the huge gap between high-paid jobs and low-paid jobs contributed to income inequality. Bumiputra's growth rate of average per adult national income was 5.4%, which was slightly higher than that of the Chinese at 4.9% and Indians at 4.7%.
The second one is income of the people in rural and urban area. 72% of respondents agreed that people in rural areas get low income comparing to those who live in an urban area. Plus, 76% of respondents agreed that people in the urban area get higher income than people who live in rural area. There was a gap between 1970 to 2000, which stated per capita income for rural and urban households has decreased from time to time.
The income gaps between ethnic groups have been increased eventually as in some households. The per capita income gap between the Malays and Chinese has been increased by 34%, and between the Malays and Indians increased by 52% from 1970 to 2000. The changes, however, were positive for the three ethnics, but incomes for Chinese and Indians increased faster in Malaysia.
So the next one is different distribution of income in primary, second, and tertiary sector. 62% of respondents agreed that the primary agriculture sector provides low income to their workers. Meanwhile, 69% agreed that secondary and tertiary promise a high income to their workers. This can be proved by Kuznets, which is lower-class people, especially from the agriculture sector, tend to migrate from countryside to more urbanized life due to the blooming of industrialization, thus making the population in urban areas greater compared to before.
To conclude, the improvement of wealth and income distribution, as well as opportunities for advancement and upward mobility for the current and future generations, are priorities to achieve social progress in our country. Malaysia's growth for the period of 1970 to 2000 included significant and relatively egalitarian among the different growth in the middle 40% and bottom 50%, and a strong divergence among the Bumiputra, Chinese and Indians in the top 1% and the top 10%. Thereby, Malaysia's growth features both a redistribution between income classes as well as combination of affirmative action policy and the free capitalism.
The next one is writer's recommendation. The most important is to provide equal opportunities through education. When more workers have high skill levels, inequality in salaries decline. Moreover, when entrepreneurs from disadvantaged backgrounds have the skills and resources to succeed, it is less likely that high-earning employers will always come from among the better off. So, Malaysians must be equipped with the skills to command high wages in the labor markets. The next one is our recommendation. Our recommendation is to increase the minimum wages. Raising the federal minimum wage will stimulate consumer spending, help business bottom lines, and grow the economy, thus making income inequality narrower in Malaysia. It will also lead to more confident, cohesive, and resilient multi-ethnic society without the country being labeled as one of the very few where affirmative policies are needed for the majority rather than minority, as seen as elsewhere, thus leaving out ethnicity from the main problem.
The limitation that we found with this finding is that studying income inequality will never be an easy task, as it is very time consuming, a very costly process, and always contradicting with each fact. Plus, there were only 100 respondents, so it could not define income inequality as a whole. The respondents were also from different ethnicity, so they might be biased in stating their opinions regarding this matter. Thank you.